Peep this. It says Big U is now representing himself in Rico case, makes a move in court to expose confidential informants. When I saw this, I didn't take it right to truth. I was just like, what? This could be a rumor. This could be somebody that was in court that heard something and said, oh, this is the next step. Off rip. If I ever hear somebody representing themselves instead of a lawyer, so you got representing yourself, you have a state appointed attorney, you have then a hired attorney, right? What's the top? The hired attorney, right? You walk in there with like a state appointed lawyer. If what do they read in your Miranda rights? If you don't have the ability to retain, one will be appointed to you, right? You don't want that person. That person got a million cases, and there's no personalized, carved out, retained time and situation that he's allocating to you, right? And that's why those people, you can't afford a lawyer in many cases. You're fucked up. You're fucked over. But if Big U really wanted to represent himself in a Rico case, a federal Rico case, a lot of people would think he's insane for that. He's got a lot of co-defendants. He's got a lot of accusations. There's probably going to be a bunch of witnesses. This is extremely high profile. There's a lot of history behind Big U's reputation in LA and in California. You got a murder, you got all types of stuff. You got the tax evasion stuff. You got the misuse of government funds that they put in his indictment. You got a lot of stuff. Big U, he doesn't even talk like the smartest person in the world, right? He doesn't talk like somebody that can get up there and represent himself correctly, even if he has truth on his side, right? Even the way that he formulates points. We've watched him do interviews before. You really think that he can go head to head with a prosecution? What? Are you serious? Hell no. So I don't want to believe this. There's no way I want to believe that Big U is trying to represent himself in a federal RICO indictment with all this shit that he's facing. No. And I don't even want to believe that he would be forced to do that from a financial standpoint, because I feel like there's enough people around that he can get some funds up from. He may not be able to get enough money in his hands to hire Diddy's defense, these 8 superstar lawyers and Brian Steele and all that. But I think there's a couple people that his family could reach out to, like, hey man, we need a favor. Or, hey man, can you even, you never know if some of these same basketball players that were getting extorted allegedly and whatnot. Hey Shaq, man, can you please send us $100,000 for Big U's defense? You think Shaq would say no? You think Shaq would say yes? I don't know. But there's probably a lot of people that were willing to help. But for nothing else, even out of fear, what if he beats his charges? Do I want to be the person that he comes home to and I shitted on him? Right? It's the same thing that Whack 100 and Loose Cannon would have to deal with if Loose Cannon came home. Loose Cannon comes home. They're gonna have to look at each other and say, when I was locked up, Whack 100, you campaigned that I was a snitch, you went crazy, you violated my wife, and this and that, and boom, boom, boom. Right? So, probably even a fear element of people wanted to help him out for nothing else. I'm not saying he's gonna get up $5 million, but this prompted me to go pull up his recent paperwork. I took a look at his docket and I said, let's see what's there. And this was a standout. So court order continuing trial date and findings regarding excludable time periods pursuant to Speedy Trial Act. So I believe Big U was pushing for the Speedy Trial Act. Let's get this underway. Let's get the trial ASAP. But the court further finds that the case is sufficiently complex due to the number of defendants and the nature of the prosecution, including the volume of discovery that has been and is expected to be produced, that it is unreasonable to expect adequate preparation for pretrial proceedings or for the trial itself within time limits established by a Speedy Trial Act. The ends of the justice served by the continuance outweigh the best interests of the public and the defendants in speedy trial. The failure to grant the continuance would be likely to make a continuation of the proceedings impossible or result in the miscarriage of justice. I mean, that's pretty clear. This is the judge's response here, people. And this is the last relevant piece that we'll look at. Therefore, for good cause shown, The trial in this matter is continued from May 19th, 2025 to May 5th, 2026. Okay. Pretrial also continued April 24th, 2026. All right. And I believe they're setting similar for his co-defendants. Yes. Defendants Robinson, Martin, all these people named here in federal courthouse, California on April 24th, 2026. Okay. And you see here at the bottom, um, this is signed by United States District Judge. All right. So we may not see or hear. I mean, his docket will continue to move, of course. I'll take a look in. We'll keep up to speed, but this kind of makes sense. And we were just saying that it's a lot going on with his situation. This is a high profile case. So what it feels like he just turned himself in a couple weeks ago, it feels like. And are we really expecting him to go to trial in May? That shouldn't be beneficial to him either. Right? There's people that I've seen Vlad say that. There's people behind the scenes saying that Diddy's case is absolutely beatable, but he should have given his lawyers more time. So they should have initially went for like 2026, like get all these ducks in a row, all these details, build this mega defense, and then walk into court. Right. But if you're Diddy and if you're a lot of people in prison, you want to get out, so it's like, nah, I got this big team. I got money. You guys do your fucking job. I don't care if you had 6 months or 6 years to prepare. Let's get to it. So Big U, from what we just read, looks like we shouldn't expect him at trial until around this time next year. All right. And this is how people sit down and you realize somebody's in jail or in prison for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and you haven't been convicted of your crimes yet, right? Are you prioritized? Were there pushbacks? Was a witness lost? Were there complications? Did you ask for a delay? Was that approved? All these different reasons on either the prosecution side or the defense side to determine the starts of these trials. So it looks like his, once again, will be next year. But we'll see what happens between now and then.